Welcome to today's meditation, all about how to create space in your life, in your mind, to allow and to create some new intentions. So I invite you to get comfortable, prepare yourself for the meditation. Notice your body, whatever surface you're sitting on or laying on. Just allow yourself to become heavy in your seat. Breathe in through your nose if you're able, and then out through your nose or mouth. Maybe even take an audible sigh. Maybe letting tension go with every exhale. Let your shoulders relax. Notice anywhere you might be holding, clenching, resisting. Try wiggling your jaw from side to side. That's a spot where some people hold tension. Notice the space behind your eyes. Try to soften yourself everywhere you can. Breathe in through the nose and out. Let it all go. And I just want to extend an invitation to, as best you can, just let go of believing your mind. Sometimes our mind tells us stories that don't serve us anymore. And instead, for today, I invite you for the next few minutes just to believe your heart, believe your gut, believe your intuition. And so today's meditation's about creating space. So, how do we create space in our lives? And what's the point? The point is to make space for what you would love in your life. And if you're trying to bring something new, it's like, let's make an example. If you want to have a new couch, but you already have a couch, you just have a couch you really don't like because it has holes in it and it's old and it smells bad. Well, before you can get a new couch, we got to get rid of the old couch. So I want to just invite you to have that as an example today. If we want to create new habits for our lives, well, we might have to release some old habits. And so I just want you to think about maybe scan your last week of life, last couple days, whatever you can remember, without judgment, without trying to change anything. Notice anywhere where you kind of gave up your time or your energy doing something you really didn't want to be doing. It made you frustrated. Maybe there was an activity you did that you felt, oh, that was just not a good use of my time. You felt maybe it was wasteful. Maybe it was scrolling on the news or social media. Maybe it was spending time with someone who really just kind of feels like they drag you down and maybe they take energy and it's not really a reciprocal relationship. It's just a taking energy. Maybe there's a task that you do and you just really don't want to be doing it anymore. So just think about something in your life that's maybe taking your joy, taking your energy, taking your time, and taking maybe your health. What's something that maybe you could consider? You don't have to do it right now, but maybe there's something you're ready to let go of, an old habit, takes something from you. It doesn't give you anything. It's not life-giving. And just imagining that habit wasn't there, that way of spending time wasn't there, that, whatever it is. Maybe it's a belief that you have. So we can release a lot of things in life. We can release thoughts and beliefs about ourselves, mostly beliefs. We can release stuff, clutter in our physical environment, clutter in our schedule. So if you want to jot down anything that came to mind, maybe it's a task that you do that you really don't want to be doing anymore. Maybe it's something you've overscheduled and maybe you do like it, but you do too much of it and it's become not so enjoyable. So just jotting down anything. Maybe it's a belief that just steals your joy, steals your energy. Maybe it's like, oh, I should do this or I should do that. But it's just stealing your joy, stealing your energy. So write that down. Anything that comes to mind that's just not for your highest good. It's not bringing you closer to a life you love. It's not helping you do what you want to do in this lifetime. Maybe it's a food that you've eaten. Maybe it's just a food that steals your energy and it steals your vitality. And then shifting from that, because nature abhors a vacuum. So nature hates when there's an open space. So if we're gonna consider releasing an old habit, like an old thing that we used to eat or activity we used to do that doesn't really give us any joy and wastes our time, what are we gonna fill it with? This is the fun part. What can we fill that time or energy with? So what's your intention? What would you love to bring in more of for this next period of time? Do you have a goal? Do you have an intention? Do you have a dream? Do you have a wish? Is there something you've been putting off that you just would love to see come into fruition? Maybe you'd love to give service in a certain way. Maybe you'd love to do something with your body that you've never done. Maybe you'd love to go somewhere you've never been. Maybe you'd love to plan something. Maybe you'd love to have a different health habit start to become a reality for you. So now that we've talked about what we're going to release and make room for, what are we making room for? What kind of awesome intentions can we create? So I invite you to jot down. What would you love to create? What would you love to have in your life more of? What would you love to do more of in your life? What would you love to be more of? What would you love to feel more of? I just invite you to take a moment to actually really jot down. What would I love to feel more of in my life? What would I like to be more of in my life? Be a loving friend. Be someone who gives service joyfully. Be someone who spreads happiness and love wherever I go and light. Whatever that is for you. What would you love to be more of in this life, in this next little while? What would I love to do more of? Would I love to do more walking? Would I love to do more paddleboarding? What would you love to do more? Would I love to do more traveling? Just write down, what would you love to do more of? Holding my guinea pigs that are purring in the background. Do more coloring and art with my daughter. Could be anything. Just journaling, what would I love to do more of? And then, what would I love to have more of? Have more time, have more energy, have more vitality, have more money, have more, who knows? You enter, you fill in the blanks. Have a cleaner house, have a fitter body. Just jot down what would you love to have more. And so, of course, you can spend more time on this. You could spend hours doing this, and it might be a really wonderful use of time. And for today, we just did a little super fast journaling session on what we want to release to make room for our dreams and goals and intentions. And then we did a little exercise on journaling about what we love to feel more, to have more, to be more, to do more of. And so I want to finish today's meditation and writing session with just really allowing yourself to take some deep breaths. And this might have been really fun for you. This might have been brought up a lot of resistance for you. This might have brought up emotions and feelings that are frustrating for you. And everything's perfect. Everything's perfect because, there is an element of longing and discontent in all of us. It doesn't feel that good. And some people just try to avoid it and never really think about it. However, I want to finish by sharing this idea that you can either be the architect of your life or the firefighter of your life. So you could be constantly putting out fires, just getting through the day, one emergency to the next. Nothing's really, you're not building anything. You're not building a life you love. You're just putting out the fires because you're just living life by default. And there's no shame in that. That's how most people live life. Most of us weren't taught to live life by design. But the other way of living life is you can be the architect of your life. So you could sit down and plan and design a life you love. You ask your higher power for help. Make and carve out time for this activity. Do this regularly. And then you can start to move towards a life you would love. And that's a choice, and we all get that choice. So I just invite you, not it's always a good time to plant a tree. You know, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. If you want to have a tree in your backyard, the next best time to plant a tree is today. So you're never too late to dream a new dream. And I just invite you to really allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. And remember, you are a creative being. You are amazing. And you can really create a beautiful future, whatever you want that to look like, with intention and with love. And thank you so much for practicing with me today, this meditative writing. So much love and light to you. Bye for now.